Okay, so let's move into mindful eating. And to begin with, I would like you to reflect on these following questions. What did you eat in your last meal? Were you present with your food or distracted by other things? Did you eat because of the time on the clock, or were you actually hungry? Just think about it for a moment. And I would like you to turn to the person right next to you. You may want to move around a little bit and have a very quick sharing. What kind of habits do you have in terms of eating? You can do it in twos or threes, and then we'll get back together shortly. Okay, so anybody would like to share some of your eating habits? What's happening? Yes.
If I'm eating alone, I can't just eat. I have to have my iPad or TV on.
Yes. So the comment is, if I'm eating by myself, I have to have iPad or something on. You feel the same? So you need kind of that distraction? Okay. Very interesting, isn't it? So we do look for these distractions while we're eating. I wonder, why do you do that? Either one of you.
I think I've a waste of time to sit and eat.
It's a waste of time, just sit and eat.
So many other things to do.
There's so many other things to do, yes. Okay, so we're just so busy, right? Anybody else who would like to share? Do you often eat because, it's 12 o'clock and it's lunchtime?
Yeah.
Do you actually check with yourself if it's, if you're hungry? Or just because, oh, right, it is 12 o'clock, I have to eat because my mind is telling me, right?
I think when I'm home on my own, I look at the clock and I think it's lunchtime. But when I'm at work, I'm busy.
Yeah.
So I know lunchtime is coming anyway. And I'm not looking to eat.
Okay. Okay, yes.
I try and practice, and I've been doing this for a couple of years now. Am I hungry? Am I full? And it's incredibly effective.
Great.
Am I hungry right now? Do I need this?
Wonderful. So the questions were, am I hungry? And at the end, am I full? Right? So some questions that we tend to avoid when we're eating. So we're going to talk about that. But let's start from the beginning. What is this thing called mindless eating? And this could be a picture of me when I'm stressed. I'll just go to the fridge and I'll start eating everything that comes my way, mostly sugar. Yes, okay, a lot of nods. Or chocolate is my favorite. So we live in a busy world, that's the fact. We're just so busy. We barely have time to eat. I remember some of those days when I was working in a corporate environment. I would go to the gym during my lunchtime and come back to the office and I would have my sandwich right in front of the computer when I'm doing my work. And actually, I would just inhale that sandwich as quickly as I can because I didn't feel comfortable. Because my boss was around and I was like, I wasn't feeling comfortable. So I actually don't remember tasting the food at all. Can you relate? Do you eat in front of your computers? Okay. Now, once again, mindfulness is not about judging anything. It's about becoming aware of what we do. And if we like, we can change. We can start changing. So the first point of change is actually awareness. If you're not aware of what we're doing, then, good luck with the change. We're often distracted while eating. Some of you were already talking about we are on the devices, we just check Facebook because it's kind of a waste of time. I can do so many other things. What is this food thing anyway? I do it 3 times at least a day, so it's nothing new. We chew, or maybe we don't. Well, we don't chew a lot, but we swallow really fast. And when we do that, there is going to be an impact in your digestive system. Okay, your stomach has to work a lot harder because you're not doing what your mouth's supposed to do. So we end up actually eating a lot more than what we're supposed to, because it takes up to 20 minutes for our brain to register that we are actually full. So if you're just inhaling that food right in front of you without just noticing, oh, you know what, how do I feel right now? You are doing a disservice to your well-being and to your body. So some facts about eating. First of all, mindful eating, a study in 2011 found out that mindful eating or changing our eating habits actually effective in weight loss as well as stress reduction. And these are some statistics in Australia. 63% of Australians were overweight in 2004. 28% of Australians were obese in the same year. It's a 19% increase from 1995. 1 in 4 Australian children were overweight or obese in 2014, and these are the results by Australian Institute of Health and Welfare. So this is something to actually consider when we talk about food. What are we doing to our bodies and what are we doing to our well-being? So what we're going to talk about today is mindful eating. And what is that exactly? So it's really about becoming aware of our experiences, physical cues and feelings about food. How often do you actually stop and feel what is happening when you consume that food? Does that food make me a bit heavy, or does it give me joy? Does it give me more energy, or do I actually feel drained after eating? So mindful eating is about eating with intention and eating with attention. So intention of caring for ourselves, because ultimately this is what we're doing when we're eating. We're just nurturing our body, nourishing ourselves. So what kind of food you're actually putting into your body, into your vehicle. You don't want to put some bad gas into your car. So what kind of food are you actually consuming? And attention of noticing and enjoying the experience. So it's not just about, I just have to eat because it's 12 o'clock. Can you start enjoying? Because if we don't enjoy, we don't really get a lot of satisfaction from what we're doing. So we just want to go back and do it again. And this is one way where we actually start overeating. So some tips around mindful eating is, it's really about your comment there, distinguishing between physical hunger and emotional hunger. Just asking yourself, am I actually hungry? Before you even eat anything. Or because I'm stressed and my mind is telling me, gosh, I need something to distract myself, to numb myself, because I'm not comfortable sitting with these emotions. And this is what we see today. We're not comfortable feeling our emotions. It's just anxiety, sadness, whatever that might be. We constantly look for ways to numb ourselves, and food is a very acceptable way of doing that. So the question is, am I really hungry? Or am I stressed? And if you're stressed, can you actually find another way to deal with what you're going through before just, going to food? Maybe having a quick walk or having a glass of water. Doing something else than just going to the fridge. Eating slowly without distraction. I know that's hard, isn't it? But can you just start bringing that habit and see what happens? Once again, there's no judgment, but we are trying to change habits of years here. I'm 39, so I've been eating for 39 years. There's a lot of habits, right? Engaging with our senses, like we did at the beginning. Just noticing the sounds, noticing the vision. What are you eating? What is right in front of you? It's not just taste. Noticing the sounds, noticing the texture of what you're consuming. And eating to maintain your well-being and your health. Not just eating just because, well, that's what we do, right? That's not the point. It's about becoming more conscious about why we do it. Taking care of ourselves. It is a big part of eating process. And noticing your feelings when you consume your food. How does that food make me feel? Anybody does fast food here? McDonald's? Wow, you got no one? Not all the time, yes, okay. Once again, this is a mindfulness workshop, so no judgment here, right? Last time I was in McDonald's, I think, or Burger King, it was over 10, 11 years ago. But I remember that I would actually feel really heavy after that meal. But then again, I would just crave for it. So it's almost like those fast foods are engineered for us to come back. It triggers part of our brain that makes us addicted to that kind of food. So just noticing what do you eat. A quick roadmap in terms of mindful eating, and I'm happy for you to take a picture of this roadmap and start bringing this into your life. By the way, this presentation is already online. I'll share that link with you. So if you don't want to take a picture, that's okay too. First question: am I hungry or am I stressed? Really bringing attention to what you're doing and why you're doing it. What kind of food am I going for? Am I going for the healthy food or am I going for the junk food? Often when we go for junk food, it's emotional eating. When we start going for the healthy food, we're actually more aware of, all right, what does my body needs? Reducing distractions as much as you can, and we live with other people, so it's not just we just have to consume our food in a cave by ourselves, not talking. It's really about, can I just leave my devices, for 10-15 minutes? And if you're eating with your family, maybe just introducing the concept of mindful eating. Oh, okay, once a week, can we just eat mindfully for 2 minutes in silence and just notice our food and making a ritual out of that? It can be a lot of fun, especially for the kids. Use your senses. We're going to do a mindful eating practice very shortly, so you just use your senses. We got more than one sense. Use them, and that will help you to enjoy your food a lot more. And when you're enjoying what you're doing, then obviously you get more satisfaction out of your food. Slow down. Please, slow down. There's no rush. No one is going to get hurt if you take another 3-4 minutes when you're eating. And chew. Don't punish your digestive system because you're just too busy. Focus on your feelings. Just notice what's happening for you when you consume your food. And please stop when full. Now, when I was growing up, I was not allowed to leave the table before the plate was empty. Right? Anybody can relate to what I'm talking about? Yes. Yeah. Now, I'm no longer a child. But these are ingrained habits for a long time. And if we're not mindful about what we're doing, then I will just still eat a lot before I stop and not check in with myself. I'm getting a lot better at that, but still, when I'm not mindful, I'll just finish everything that is on my plate. Any questions? Okay, I know that some of you look really hungry. Okay, so let's get into a mindful eating practice. And I think these animals look so mindful when they're eating. So I got 2 things here. Usually I bring some raisins, but lately some people express some dislikes for raisins. So I also got, this is dried sour cherry, and I also got some raisins. So feel free to take whatever you would like to work with. If I can open them. Oh yes, thank you. I'll just take a few, and take a few in your hands. We'll just pass this around. Yeah, so cherry or raisins. And when you receive them, please just hold them in your palm. Not eating yet. Not eating yet. Thanks so much, Lisa. Cherries are popular, yeah? You can also combine. Okay, so if you have 1 or 2 in your hand, thank you so much. Yeah, you want some raisins? There you go. Keep the pack. Okay. Start noticing the weight of either your cherry, dried cherry, or raisins. Thank you. We got more, so don't worry. You can always have seconds. Just noticing the weight, how it sits in your hand, in your palm. And start looking into it. Just noticing the shape. Do they look similar, or do they have different shapes or colors? Just observing your food using our senses. Now I'm going to ask you to pick one of them. Just pick one. The one that you kind of feel drawn to for some reason. And pick that with your, pick it up with your other hand. And just start noticing the texture. Just start playing around with this a little bit. I know that we were told not to play with our food, but this is a mindful eating activity. So just notice how it feels in your hand. Now just bring it up to close to your ear, just to see if it sounds. What kind of sounds can you hear? Mine does a little crunchy sound. Now bringing this closer to your nose and really smelling what kind of aroma, if any. And also noticing what is happening in your mouth while we do this. Are you already salivating? Is your mind like, I gotta eat this now? Okay, just noticing the impulse, the urge to actually inhale your food and just show it down, right? Just noticing these are the feelings that are coming up. Now, before we put this in our mouth, I actually would like you to start touching the raisin or the cherry in your lips and just notice how that feels. Is this the same sensation as you felt when it was in your hand, or is it any different? And also noticing the commentary of your mind. Right? Just noticing what your mind is telling you. Now I'm going to invite you to put this in your tongue. Please don't eat it yet. So we're going to place it on our tongues. And this is when it gets a little funny for me, talking with my with food in my mouth, which I don't do in normal life, but in a mindful eating session, yes. So just playing around with this. Maybe just playing around, just touching the raisin with your tongue. When you're ready, having a bite. Not chewing the whole thing, but having just one bite. Noticing the taste. Noticing the urge to swallow, to eat faster. Let's slow down a little bit. Taking a couple of more bites. And really experiencing these sensations. The taste, the smells, the texture. Can you actually enjoy? Can you savor this moment? Or is your mind telling you, gosh, I need to have a second one or a third one, right? Just notice. And when you can't actually keep it in your mouth anymore, because this is too much, I invite you to swallow it slowly. And see if you can follow your food all the way down to your stomach. Can you just follow your food? Okay, let's take a deep breath in and out. Now I invite you to do the same for the other 2 or 3, whatever you have left in your palm. Just eat mindfully and see if it's the same experience. If the second one tastes the same, or is it any different? You're going to do this in silence for a minute. Just you and your food, no distractions. Just notice. And then we'll come back together in about 2 minutes. I'm curious about your experience. What did you notice? Anybody would like to share? Yes. Tingles. Okay, and something that you don't get when you're eating?
Not if I'm not focusing on it.
So there's a lot of urges that we actually work with when we are eating mindfully, or when we're eating in general, but when we start bringing mindfulness in our eating, changes the whole concept a little bit. Did you like the experience? Yeah. No? Lisa, you didn't like it? What happened for you?
I tried really hard. I just wanted you to like go fast.
Yeah, oh yes.
I just stop talking, tell me I can solve it.
Yeah. And this is often what we do. We're just so impatient with our food. Well, we're kind of impatient with everything, aren't we? It's like we just want that instant gratification. Right? I just want this hit right now. But life doesn't unfortunately work that way, right? Often we have to wait. We've got to be patient. So we can start developing this patience in, with food to begin with. We do it every day, right? Every single day, at least twice, if not more. Anybody else would like to share? Yes.
I really tasted the food.
Yeah.
Because when I took that first bite, I think the taste buds really got a chance to work. So I think when I normally eat, I just chew it and I bypass that step.
Yeah, the taste.
So that was really good.
Yeah. And that's where we get the satisfaction, the taste. So rather than, when we're mindful, rather than eating the whole block of chocolate, then we may be satisfied with just one piece. Right? So, and I'm not here to tell you what you should be doing or you shouldn't be doing. That's not my role. We're all adults and we get to choose what we want to do. These are some suggestions for you to, incorporate in your daily life to be healthier, to be happier, to be more satisfied with what you're doing. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of tips before we enjoy our beautiful tea, which is ready. So who is salivating now? Okay, so to begin with, please listen to your body and don't torture your body. If you're not hungry, why put extra weight on your body? Just check in with yourself. Gratitude is a big one. How often actually do you know what kind of effort goes into the food that you're eating? Take a simple apple that you buy from a supermarket or from a market. That tree needs to be planted. It takes years for that tree to grow and start giving fruit. And then someone has to, pick that fruit. Someone has to transport that fruit so that we can actually enjoy that. So giving gratitude for what we have. Because a lot of people in this world, they actually don't have it. So we're very lucky to live here and have that variety of different foods that we can pick and choose from. I think it's important to be grateful for what is right in front of us. Eliminating distractions, I'm not going to say more on that. Just leave your devices away from the table. Being present by using all of your senses. Just engage with your senses. This is part of mindfulness. We're just noticing with everything, not just the taste. Pace is important. Not just, I have to get this done, because often we have eaten before, so our minds are telling us, this is the same time that, you ate 20 years ago. Well, it's not. Each moment is a different moment. It's a new moment. You're eating something different. So can you maybe make a habit of stopping after every 5 bites? Just take a deep breath. Just leave whatever you're doing and just take a deep breath. Just notice, am I full yet? Or do I want to have more? We talked about chewing more. Portions are really important. What are your satiety cues? So there's some research shows that using smaller plates while we're eating actually helps us to reduce our intake of food. If you're eating from a bigger plate, then often we eat with our eyes, don't we? So it's psychological perception. Oh, right, the plate is huge, the food is not so big, therefore I need to have more. Just noticing your psychology. And forgiveness and self-compassion with this process. Once again, we are working with habits that have been ingrained in us for years. So please don't beat yourself up if you're not eating as mindfully as you would like to. Forgive yourself. You're doing your best, and keep cultivating that habit. To get into habits, it takes often 21 days of constant, trying. And with food, it's even more because it's been such a normal part of our life. If you'd like to find out more about what I do and bring more mindfulness into your life, you can check my website. I also do have my cards here. If you want to take one, please feel free. I often run group courses, retreats, as well as workplace trainings in mindfulness. And we do have a meetup group, which is free. If you are, if you're willing to practice mindfulness in a group setting, just check it out. Mindfulness Circle Brisbane. The slide is there. If you like to access it, just take a picture of it or come and talk to me afterwards. And I'm going to leave you with a quick Q&A if there are any questions or comments before we actually eat. There is a question? Yes.
So you were talking about sleep.
Yes.
And with mindfulness, for people who have a racing mind and they just can't settle with sleep, do you have any techniques that you have found work?
Yes. So the question is, are there any techniques if we can't sleep very well, if we have the racing mind? What I would usually suggest is, coming off the devices before you go to bed. You can still read, dimming the lights in the room, because it's really important for us to sleep in darkness. If your mind is still racing, come back to the breath. Come back to what I often do is just breathing in and breathing out exercise. So breathing in calmness and presence. You're just telling yourself calm, relax, and you breathe out any tension or agitation. If you do that breathing, some people find it really useful to get back into the sleep. If you can't, just noticing your sensations in your body. And not getting into that constant mind chatter. Oh my God, what is going to happen? I still can't sleep. So the problem with sleep, when we just kind of, awaken, is that when we buy into the mindful or mindless mind chatter, it will take us away from the present moment. So even you find it difficult to sleep, just coming back to the senses, coming back to your body, and releasing. Breathing techniques work really well. So breathing in relaxation, breathing out tension. Sure. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I invite you to have a mindful eating and drinking of some tea and some cupcakes. Thank you. And feel free to come and chat to me if you have any questions later on. Enjoy your food.